Morning everyone, very lovely to have you here. Morning, welcome. Just waiting for everyone to join. Hello Andrea, nice to see you. I hope you're well today. How have you been? How's your week been? Morning Heather, how are you? How are you doing? Are you back home now? I think you are. I hope you're all right. Nice to see you. How's everyone been? How's your week been? What's been the best bit of your week? I'm going to see if I can draw this text over so that I can actually read what's going on. Oh, I did it. Ah, that's good. That's good. Morning, Jasmine. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Oh, Andrea, yeah, waiting for the summer. Goodness me, I wish it would be warm. I know we've had a couple of days where it's been all right, but I love the summer. I'm looking forward to it being nice and warm. Oh, okay. So, Heather, you're home, but you're going to be going back in. So I hope you're all right. Look after yourself, won't you? Just take care. Be kind to yourself. I think if they think that that's the right thing for you, then that will be the right thing for you. So I'm thinking of you. You take care. It must be difficult. I do appreciate that. But I'm really glad that you're here today. Thank you for being here. Michelle, very lovely to see you. Michelle Kitch. I'm very well, thank you. How has everyone's week been? Have you had a good week, a mixed week, a difficult week? How's it been for you? What's been the best bit of your week so far? I'm trying to think of what my best bit has been. I'll tell you what, I had a nice chat with my son. My son is travelling again, so he's in Spain at the moment. And yeah, so it was nice to have a chat with him. He's in the middle of nowhere. That's been my best bit of this week. And I'm having my hair cut after this, so I'm going to have to finish. We finish at 1 and then I'm shooting off, go and have my hair cut. So what about you though? What's been going on for you in your week so far? Oh, mixed week for you, Andrea. Yeah. So, I think it's having a mixed week. I think most of us have a mixed week, don't we? It's not all roses and sunshine, is it, all the time? But hopefully you've had good bits in your week too. Michelle says, been a tough week work-wise, feeling emotionally drained. I'm pleased it's Friday. So, oh, hello, Gwarid. Nice to see you too. Welcome. I'm just waiting for everyone to sort of join and settle themselves down. I meant to make myself a coffee, but I haven't. I forgot to make a coffee, so I haven't got a drink. Maybe if my husband comes home again, he can make me one like last time. Oh, that's good. So Andrea, you're going to go and see your mum today. That's really nice. Excellent. Good. Oh, Jasmine says, best part of my week so far was having a coffee in the garden with Mum and Nanny. Oh, that's so lovely. Really nice. Yeah, I think it's part of my best bit of my week is when I hear the key in the door and my husband comes home and we both have a little sit in the garden in the sunshine, have a coffee. It's always nice. Oh, thank you, Gwarid. I shall take that virtual brew. I've got the dregs left of like a tiny little bit, so I'll have that. I've got a little bit of lemon and ginger tea left that's cold, but I can have that to sip on, can't I? So, oh, and Lucy Hagan, I have university finals next week. Anxiety is through the roof. Oh, I feel for you. But at least it'll be done, won't it? And you won't need to worry about them anymore. So just take it step by step, moment by moment. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself breaks as well. And try not to be too far in the future, thinking about what's going to happen. It's much more important to be in the here and now and working on what is happening and what you've got control over now. That's it. But good luck with them. I hope they go really well. And good morning, Julie Reese Diva from California. Nice to see you. So it's probably about, oh my goodness, let me think. So it must be about 4 o'clock in the morning for you over there. So I'm very impressed that you're here. As always, thank you for joining us. Yeah, as Jasmine's, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's really nice to just chill out sometimes and sit outside, yeah. So Safia says, what are we doing today? Well, I think we're just going to have a chilled out morning, to be honest with you, Safia. As always, just checking in with everyone, seeing how you're doing, checking out what sort of week you've had, and if anyone has any questions, anything that they particularly like to talk about, whether that's well-being, whether it's anxiety, whether it's something that's making you feel a bit stuck, whether it's self-care. I'm happy to chat about anything, really. I had such a busy weekend last weekend. I was so worn out. I got to sort of, because we had graduation weekend at the Quest Institute, and we finished, and I think I didn't do anything very much until Wednesday. I felt really discombobulated, just so much interaction with people. So, oh, and Gore says med school exams in 2 weeks. Good luck. Good luck. Gosh. I always remember when I was at uni, and some of my housemates were, well, they weren't, it was in the first year, and on the same corridor where we lived in the Hall of Residence, I had 3 med students, and they just worked all the time. They had lectures from morning till evening, and I was doing history of art and classics, and I just sort of wander in, have a couple of lectures a week. That was it for me, because they worked all the time, and I'd knock on their door and say, "Do you fancy a coffee?" And they'd be like working, and oh, I haven't got time. I can't stop. I've got to work. So I really felt for them. It was horrible. So I hope your med school exams go well. Yeah, so Jasmine's saying I'm always trying to work in the garden, but I can't see the laptop screen. I was having this chat with my husband yesterday, because we were both saying it's really nice to, I wouldn't see clients in the garden because it's not private enough, but to do my admin, I sometimes can do it in the summer if I've got the brolly up, so I'm really in the shade. But it'd be nice, wouldn't it, to be able to work outside? Okay, I can see a question here. Oh dear, might have to go and get a drink of water in a minute. So Katie is saying, my anxiety has made me feel like I need a wee all the time, and now it's because it's physical. I don't quite get. Maybe if you could ask your question again, Katie. I didn't quite get that one. I think a lot of people do feel like they need to go to the loo when they feel when you feel anxious. So maybe ask your question again in a way, because I don't quite know how I can answer that one. Let's have a look. And my anxiety is the dentist. I get so jittery and jumpy. My name is Mrs. Pepperpot. So I think that's a fear, isn't it, that a lot of people have, going to the dentist. And usually that will happen because there's been some sort of event in your life where either you've had an experience at the dentist which has made your nervous system think, oh, this is not a safe place to be, or people talk about the dentist in a really negative way, don't they, lots of times. And if you're young and you hear that becomes a belief that the dentist is a terrible place. So maybe by the time you get to the dentist, you're already in a state of high anxiety. So that sort of thing, it's well worth. Cognitive hypnotherapists are really helpful with that sort of thing, because we can go back and reframe what happened, and that can be really helpful to help your nervous system realize that, oh, that was what was happening then. I was too young to really understand. But I suppose it is natural, isn't it, that it can feel a little bit intrusive to have someone, looking in your mouth. You can feel a little bit helpless and a bit out of control. So it's natural maybe to feel a certain amount of anxiety. But you don't have to. I mean, I know I really like the dentist. I find it really relaxing. But I was lucky. I've always had really good dentists that have made me feel very comfortable. So let's have a look. So Kvicha, I can't say your name. It's an Eastern European name. I don't believe that therapists can fix your problems, and that's okay. I think that's quite a big generalization, and not every therapy works for everyone. I mean, my therapy works for lots of people, but it's not going to necessarily work for everyone. I think it's just about finding the right person that you click with and the right sort of therapy. So maybe you've had a difficult experience that that therapy that you tried didn't work for you, and I'm sorry to hear that. But I think that's not necessarily true for everyone. I think therapy does help people. Well, I know it helps people. So Lord Maslia says, good morning from California. I have nocturnal panic attacks and can't sleep. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? I think a lot of the time when we have difficulties in our sleep or with our sleep, it's because of stuff that's going on during our day. And if we are anxious during our day, or perhaps we've been going through difficult times, traumatic times, then that can manifest itself at night time when we're asleep. So our brain is working through the stuff that's happened in the day. And if that is overwhelming and we can't work out how to deal with it, then we can find ourselves having a panic attack. So it's a bit horrible. I feel for you, because I'm sure that that's not a pleasant experience at all. And what I would say is maybe have a look on my grid of my page, because there are things that you can do to help yourself during the day, to help yourself be more present, to be calmer during the day and generally. And of course, you could always go and see a therapist to help you reframe what's going on for you. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you're very welcome. My name's Sarah. I'm a Quest Cognitive Hypnotherapist, or QCH therapist, and that's the sort of therapy it's a talking therapy, but it's a very practical therapy. It really is a framework, and it's about tailoring therapy to the individual client that comes along. And there's lots of things that we work with, lots of things that people are experiencing that we can help them with. And there's lots of things that we don't work with. So every person that comes along to us is an individual. And I know that I have colleagues that work with people, helping them with fertility, helping them with addiction, helping them with trauma. I personally work with people who are experiencing anxiety. That's the area that I'm really interested in, and I love helping people with that. I'm joined by my lovely moderators who at the moment I've only seen Jasmine, so welcome Jasmine. It may well be that Lynn 250 and Vicky Hodson are here too, but I've just not seen you yet this morning, so my apologies if I haven't said hello to you. And they're not therapists, but they're here to keep this a nice safe place so that people are respectful and kind. And if you don't agree with something that is said, or you don't believe it to be true, well, that's fair enough. You're totally entitled to your thoughts, to your beliefs. But what I would do is ask you to be kind and respectful of everyone. And if people are not, then we tend to just mute initially and then maybe block if you're going to be rude. Hopefully you're not. Most people that come here are really kind and lovely, and it's a really nice, helpful community. So what I'm going to do is write down some questions and see if I can help with them, see if I can answer any questions. So we've already had a question about going to the dentist, feeling really jittery and nervous around going to the dentist. And I can see one from Daniela here saying, I feel anxious to see my grandchildren and have no idea why. I feel afraid that I can't cope. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling like that, Daniela. I'll have a little scroll through just to get maybe one more question for now, and then I'll come back to you. Okay. And Bex, oh gosh. So Bex Ledger is saying getting married in 8 weeks' time and feeling really worried about being the centre of attention. Okay. Well, congratulations being married. And it's a big old day, isn't it? There's so many emotions around getting married and that day and the organising everything. So yeah, I've written that down. We'll have a think about that, shall we? And I can see that's a 2-part question, so I'm going to just scroll down and see how I can help with that. And then Becky is also saying tips on how to deal with health anxiety around children. So is that with you, Becky? So is that okay? So health anxiety. So you're worried about your children having stuff wrong with them. I'm assuming. Okay. Apologies today. I think I'm still not quite over the weekend. I still feel a little bit discombobulated. I feel like I'm sitting here and I'm not really thinking that straight. So hopefully I will. Hopefully all will be fine. But if I'm a bit sort of not quite myself, that's what's going on. Let's have a little look. Oh, and Bex, you're saying that you massively struggle with anxiety anyway. Okay. So for any of you, I'm going to answer those questions first. And for any of you who are interested, on the grid on my TikTok, there's lots and lots of videos. There's categories at the bottom, including categories on specific types of anxiety, like health anxiety, social anxiety, agoraphobia, emetophobia, those are fears, obviously, general anxiety, high functioning anxiety, all of those things. So you can always go and have a look at them. So there's information, but there's also real practical coping skills. So you might, if either now or another time, go and have a look at those. And the same applies for children. So if you've got children who are a bit anxious, then all of the techniques that we use can be used for children as well. So hopefully that's helpful for you. So let's look at the question that we had about the dentist. So being frightened of going to the dentist, feeling really anxious about that. Well, what I would say is always let your dentist know that you feel that way, because they are pretty used to people feeling a bit nervous about the dentist. And if they know in advance, then they can potentially put things in place to help you. There's things that you can do to help yourself. So in the time leading up to the dentist, going to the dentist, and generally in your life, to be looking after yourself, to be doing things that help you feel much calmer, looking at doing breath techniques, doing physical techniques, doing self-care, so that your levels of stress hormones, instead of being up here, are down here, and you can feel generally more relaxed. When you're going into the dentist, to be much more present. And by that, what I mean is that many people who are anxious about a particular thing, they'll spend a lot of their time in the future thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I'm frightened of this happening, and all of the what ifs. And you can also spend time in the past thinking, oh gosh, this happened then, and then you're leaping to the future. What if it happens again? And so to try and be much more in the present, to be aware of, okay, right here and now, everything is fine. I'm all right. I'm just in my car going to the dentist. And to actually, you can write down the stuff that you're afraid of, so that you can show that to your dentist and say, look, these are the things that I'm really worried about. Hopefully that's a little bit helpful. If you can't bring yourself down to a level of calm just by yourself, just by doing the things that I talk about on my page, then do think about going to see a therapist. You can either go to your doctor and say, I need to see a therapist about my fear, or if that's going to be too long-winded, you can perhaps look on my profile page. There's a link to the QCHPA therapist finder, and on there are lots of therapists who are trained in the same way as I am, who can help you to reframe what has made you feel this way. Because actually, going to the dentist, they're not going to hurt you. They're like doctors, that their intention and their purpose is to do you no harm, So the belief that we have, perhaps through a traumatic experience, that belief that something is going to go terribly wrong, is not necessarily true. It doesn't bear out in reality. So a therapist can help you to deal with that and to reframe it, and to be able to go into the dentist feeling much more confident and calm. So I would have a think about that maybe. But this, as I say, the stuff on my page can be helpful. Thank you for asking the question. Daniela, so you've asked a question about your grandchildren. You're saying that you feel really anxious about seeing your grandchildren, and you have that fear that you won't be able to cope with them. So obviously I don't know what's gone on in your life, what's going on currently, to be able to sort of really get to the nitty-gritty of what's going on here. But often, your grandchildren will be so precious to you, I imagine. And so if we're anxious and we start to think, oh no, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, something happens and I don't deal with it well? Or what if I accidentally hurt them? So that can be the sort of thing that comes into our minds. But again, it's not necessarily true. So have a look at the patterns of that. When is that happening? What are you actually afraid that is going to happen? What sort of things would you not be able to cope with? Something that I do with my clients quite a lot is to get them to list down all of the things that they're worried that might happen. So then, and then once they're written down, to go through them individually and think, okay, what would I actually do if that happened? And you find that actually you would cope with anything going on. If they fell over and they banged their head, if they fell over and grazed their knee, there's always going to be a solution, and you're never on your own. There will be people around, there'll be neighbours if you can't cope, so that you will be able to cope. You've coped with absolutely everything, I would imagine, all the way up until this moment. So being practical about it can be quite helpful. And also for you to be curious about your grandchildren, to perhaps work in small chunks, to chunk it down into small moments, so that first of all you're spending time with your grandchildren, not by yourself, with your partner, with your child, so that you can see how they behave, they get used to you, and it just makes life a little bit easier for you, so that you're not plunging straight into being alone with them. So I hope that helps a little bit, Daniela. It's hard, isn't it? Really hard when you worry about things, because your grandchildren will be so precious to you. Let's have a look at some of these. Oh, that's my pleasure, Daniela. I'm sure you're a lovely grandma. I bet you're really great with your grandchildren and they absolutely adore you. So, be with that thought. And maybe what you could do is, when you've spent time with your grandchildren, you can make a little note of the best moment that you've had with them. Maybe you can take photographs or little videos of your day with them, and you can look back and go, no, I did cope really well with that. So yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. Let's have a little look. Again, thank you all for joining me here. I'm joined by the lovely Jasmine, who is moderating for me today. And Jasmine is just absolutely the loveliest person. And I appreciate you being here, Jasmine. Thank you so much. What I was going to say was that obviously we want this to be for people to be helped by these videos, these lives, the things that I do. And what I ask is that, these are all for free. I don't want anything from anyone. Like, I don't want you to think about subscribing or anything like that, because I don't want it to cost anyone any money. But what I would ask is, if you fancy, if you tap the screen and send likes to TikTok, that doesn't cost you any money. And what it does is it helps the algorithm to know that perhaps this is being helpful to people. And so it will send it to more people, which is really helpful for me. And also likewise, if you fancy following me, if you think that it might be interesting to follow me, or if you want to share the live, all of that kind of stuff is really helpful, because if the algorithm thinks that something is of help or interesting to people, then it will send it to more people. And that's what we want, isn't it? Because I think there's so many people out there who are really struggling with their mental health at the moment, for so many different reasons: the cost of living, the pandemic, financial difficulties, worrying about stuff that's going on in life generally. And so if we can help in any way that we can, then that's great. Going again through my profile page, there's a link tree on my TikTok grid at the top, and that will take you through to lots of other links to resources, and all the resources are free. So whether that's going through to my Quest Hub, or to my YouTube page, or my website, there's loads of free stuff that hopefully will be helpful for you. So do feel free at some point, if you want to click through there, maybe not right now, but do go and help yourself to all the free resources there. I do, if you can't be here for very long, in fact I've failed miserably this week doing this, but always in the past I've uploaded these lives to my YouTube, and this week I didn't upload my live from last week, so I've been very, very bad. I kept thinking of it, and then I was just so tired this week, and I just haven't done it. So, but I will do that later on today, and then I'll upload this one as well, so you can have a look. So let's have a look. So let's answer Bex's question. So Bex is getting married in 8 weeks' time, and she's really worried about being the centre of attention, about being anxious, and I imagine about that ruining your big day, Bex. So congratulations on getting married. How very lovely. I don't know what everyone else is. What are everyone else's thoughts on this? If you've been married, what was your big day like? Were you worried about being centre of attention, or did you? Was it okay? How did it feel? Ems, thank you. I love your Friday lives, you're saying. Thank you very much. I'm really glad that you enjoy them. I really appreciate all your kindness. You say, let's have a look. So Kerry was just asking a question. Health anxiety. So Kerry, I'll come to health anxiety. Let me make a note of it. And as Jasmine says, thank you, Jasmine, there are categories on my main page about health anxiety. It's a tricky one, and so I will. Becky also asked about that, so I'm going to be talking about that in a minute or two. All right, so bear with. But going back to Bex, so it's tricky, isn't it? Because if you're a bit of an introvert, or if you're a bit shy, if you suffer from anxiety, then being the centre of attention on the big day is certainly a way of framing it. We can think, oh God, everyone's going to be looking at me. what everyone's going to be judging me. Is my dress good enough? Do I look pretty? Have I got as my lipstick smudged? What if I cry? All of those things. And what I want you to think about is that your big day is it's you and the person that you're marrying and all of the people in that place, whether it's a church, whether it's wherever it is that you're getting married, whether it's a religious wedding or not a religious wedding, everyone is there because you've asked them to be there. Everyone is there because they love you and they love your partner and they want you to be happy. And they won't all be looking at you all the time. They're going to be chatting. They're going to be, what it's like when you're at a wedding and you see someone you've not seen for ages and you're like, oh my God, hello. They're going to be enjoying the day and happy for you. Okay. And so your job is just to be you, because being you is good enough. And just being, I remember when I got married, my plan was I got married in a church and I was going to walk down the aisle, and my plan was to say hello to everyone. As I walked down the aisle, I was going to just say hello to everyone. And actually, when it came to it, the church doors opened and my plan went totally out of the window, because all I could see was my partner, my future husband, waiting for me. And our eyes locked, and it was as though there was no one else there in the room. It really was. And all I cared about was him and me and saying our vows and us making this day together a really special day. And I forgot about people looking at me because I gave my focus to him. So maybe that's something that might happen for you, that actually it becomes not about everyone looking at you, but more you being curious about, here's this person that I'm going to be marrying, perhaps being aware of the love in the room, the people who really care about you, and feeling that really, because everyone in that room wants you to be happy and they don't really care about anything else. So that would be my thought. There are techniques that you can use so to help yourself to be really present. What I found, and I don't know if anyone else found this too, is that the day goes by really quickly, and I can barely remember very much of my day. It just went by in an absolute flash, and to be in the moment as much as you can, to spend time really appreciating where you are, who you're with, the people who've travelled to be with you, and also to give them the gift of your time. So instead of feeling, oh my God, it's making me feel terrible, all these people are looking at me, to reframe that as, I'm so lucky that I have this partner here. I have this person who's going to be my spouse. I'm so fortunate that these people have given up time to come here because they want to celebrate with us. So it's not necessarily that they're all just looking at you like a goldfish in a bowl. They have come to celebrate with you and you get to celebrate with them. There's a pinned post that I do, which is this one, which can help you to be in the moment, to bring yourself to, here I am, all this work that we've put into arranging this wedding, and here we are, just you and me together. So there's that you can use. You can also use breathing techniques to help you come to this moment, to just slow everything down. But in a way, it's quite normal to feel a little bit heightened emotion, a little bit of heightened emotion when you're doing something like this, because it matters, doesn't it? You know, if you think about the way our nervous system works, it's scanning our environment, looking for change, looking for potential threat. And I suppose if your belief is that people are going to be judging you, then that might give you a little burst of adrenaline. But actually, if you can settle into the people are here because they love us, that can be a little bit more helpful. I hope anyway. And also things like, I don't know if you're doing the whole what if, like what if I fall over, or what if I cry, or something like that. Well, I burst into tears in the middle of my wedding ceremony, and I thought, oh no. Oh, I could say when the priest or the vicar says, okay, you have to repeat after me, in sickness and in health, blah blah blah, all of that. I can't even remember the vows now. And I knew that if I opened my mouth and said those words, I was going to cry. And so I was quiet, and I could feel everyone looking at me. But it was a concern. They were just like, oh God, is she all right? Is she all right? And the vicar was great, because he said something, and we all burst out laughing, and I burst into tears. I was like, oh, because I was so happy. I was so happy to be there and to actually be doing this at last. And the whole congregation, everyone laughed, and I looked round, and my sister was in tears. She was my bridesmaid, and everyone in the church, everyone was crying. And actually, it wasn't just about me. I just thought, oh my goodness, we are joined in this really wonderful day. We've come together, and this is something that I'll always remember, you know. So I hope that helps a little bit. I hope you have a brilliant wedding, and maybe you'll have special moments that you'll be able to tell people in years to come of, oh my goodness, I cried, or oh my goodness, this happened, or, you know, I walked into the church and all I could see was the person I was going to marry. So I hope that helps a little bit. I'm not so sure if it does, but I hope it does. It's 8 weeks' time, so lovely summer wedding. I hope the sun shines for you and you have a beautiful day. So you take care of yourself. Oh, Vicky, hello. Vicky Handlebars, nice to have you here. Thank you. So Vicky Handlebars is also one of my lovely moderators, so thank you for being here. Nice to see you. I hope you've had a good week. So I'm just want to welcome everyone for being here. It's really nice to have you here. Welcome. I'm Sarah, and I'm a cognitive hypnotherapist, a QCH therapist, and I work mostly with people who are suffering from anxiety, but I also work with other things that people are experiencing. So maybe depression, maybe fears, maybe that feeling of being stuck. There's lots of things that people go through. And the thing about the work that I do is that everyone is taken as an individual. The reason that you're feeling the way you're feeling is going to be completely unique to you, and that's what we work with. So, oh, Bex, I'm so glad that. Thank you for feeding back to me that was helpful about the wedding day stuff. You know, it's completely normal. You will not be the only bride who's thinking, oh, but it's okay. Make the most of every moment of your day, because it will fly by. But all those people are there because they love you. Okay, let us know how it went, eh? Let's have a look. So just having a look. Oh, Darcy. Hey, Sarah. So happy to finally be able to attend one of these lives. It's very nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome to everyone. If you're new here, it's great to have you here. We do this every Friday, and for the next few Fridays, it's going to be 12 o'clock. I'm trying to be organised because my poor old moderators were like 2 days before, I'm going, oh, it'll be 10 o'clock today. Oh, it'll be 2 o'clock today. So I thought I need to get myself organised. So for the next few weeks, it's going to be at 12. I've got a couple of weeks off in June. The first couple of weeks in June, there won't be any lives because I'm going on my hollybobs. But then when we come back as well, it's 12 o'clock. So that's what I'm trying to do. If you've got any suggestions, if you want to talk about anything in particular, just let me know. But you are very welcome here. And I will try and remember, I forgot last week, but I'm going to put this on my YouTube, which is Sarah Aris Therapy. You can see this on this little sign up here. So let's have a look. Oh, and Sophie says, Sophie Bellman, thank you so much. Lovely to see you on live. I love just to listen to your uplifting and positive advice. Thank you. That is so nice of you to say so. I'm really pleased that you like my stuff that I'm doing. Let's have a look. So another question there from X about emetophobia. So that feeling of that you're going to be sick or being afraid of being sick. So I'll come to that. I'll answer that question. I'm going to answer a question about health anxiety in just a moment. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, that's a good question there. So Sienna, just did my first A level. Woohoo! Well done. Any tips for anxiety on the rest? So just keep an eye on the time here. So Sienna, tips on A level anxiety. So well done for getting the first one done and dusted and out the way. So let me answer some of these questions. So a quick one on health anxiety. So Becky and Kerry, you both asked about health anxiety. And I always think health anxiety is a real, pardon my French, but I think it's a real bugger because it's something that you can get stuck in it because of the fact that, you know, you're triggered into anxiety for whatever reason, and it will be individual to you. And then you get the physical symptoms of anxiety, whatever that might be for you, all sorts of different physical symptoms. And some of the times we don't even know that it's a symptom of anxiety. And then our brain, our rational brain goes, oh, well, this must mean that I've got this condition or that condition or, you know, something terrible. And that's horrible because then that makes you more anxious. And so you get more physical symptoms and it goes round and around and around. So I always think with health anxiety, it's really helpful to actually go and see someone. A lot of anxiety, you can do a lot by yourself to help yourself. But I think with health anxiety, and this is slightly different for you, Becky, but with health anxiety, it is really helpful to go and see a therapist so that they can help you reframe that, to reframe what's going on and look at where has this come from? What is the event that has triggered you into this belief that there's stuff going on physically for you? But what you can do is to look at the pattern of this, look at, okay, when am I feeling anxious? What's going on? And also to begin to use self-care in your life, to begin to connect to things that you love, that you enjoy, things that give you the release of things like serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, dopamine, those hormones that tell your nervous system that all is well, that you're safe. Because the more of that you have in your system and the more your nervous system goes, oh, actually, I'm all right, there's no danger, the levels of stress hormones, the adrenaline and cortisol, go much lower. And so you don't get the physical symptoms. And if you don't get the physical symptoms of anxiety, then your rational brain, although it's a little bit irrational in these moments, but your thinking brain is not going to be going, oh my God, what's that feeling in my arm? What's that feeling in my tummy? Because there isn't a feeling, because you're not anxious, so you're not getting the physical symptoms. So it's really important to work on that, being able to lower your sense of anxiety. And there's lots and lots of videos on my page around this. Slightly different for you, Becky, talking about having health anxiety around someone else. So being worried about your children or your grandchildren being ill in some way and looking for symptoms within them. I think that, again, that's that sense perhaps of uncertainty, of being out of control, maybe making matches to times in the past or people that you've known, or maybe having your own health issues that have made you really hyper vigilant about what's going on for the people around you, and being worried because we tend to be thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And so it can be helpful to be in the moment and to realize, okay, just going to take a moment and look, my children, they're fine. They're playing, they're normal, they're absolutely fine, because the vast majority of children are fine. And also it's really important to sort that out for you, because you don't want to be teaching your children or your grandchildren that, you need to worry about everything, because that's not helpful for them. It's most of the time, most of us are pretty healthy, especially, and we're very lucky, aren't we, to live in first world countries where we don't have to worry so much about some of the things that people in third world countries might have to worry about. So yeah, those are the things with health anxiety. And as I say, do have a look on my main page and also on YouTube, because there is more information on health anxiety there, more specifically. I hope that helps a little bit, Becky and Kerry. So let me have a little scroll through. Thank you for joining me. If you've just joined, it's very lovely to have you here. Let's have a little look. The things just scroll through so quickly, and sometimes I miss comments, and so my apologies for that. Oh gosh, look, and is that V11? I'm 16 and terrified I'll never be able to live alone or drive a car because I'm always scared about something. Oh, bless you. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you are feeling that way. And I think that it's quite natural when you're going through what you're going through at the moment, your teen years. They're the most unstable, most tricky years. And it's normal to be thinking, oh, what if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? Actually, you're still going through huge adjustments, huge changes. We don't fully reach our sort of mental maturity until we're in our mid to late 20s. So you're going to change massively in the next few years, and you will learn so much. And you're not alone. You don't ever have to deal with anything by yourself. No matter where you are, the chances are there'll be people that you can ask help from, and you don't have to be dealing with those things yet. You don't have to live alone yet. You'll only start living by yourself when you feel ready for it. And that might be when you're 18, 19, it might be when you're in your mid-20s, it might be when you're in your 30s. And whatever that is absolutely fine. You don't need to worry about that right now. And I think that if you are always feeling scared about something, then talk to someone about that. It can be helpful to talk to people that you trust, people that are friends, that are family. And also it can be helpful to maybe to go and talk to someone, maybe a counsellor, maybe someone like me, a therapist. Have a look on my page, because there's a category at the bottom of the profile page, and there's lots of information about anxiety, stuff that you can learn that shows you, oh, this is the reason that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and this is what I can do about it. Okay, so maybe go and have a little look, and that will be helpful. Em says very quickly, have you done much for Mental Health Awareness Week? I have to admit, Em, I've done absolutely nothing. It's probably terrible, isn't it? So I think lots of people are doing stuff for Mental Health Awareness Week. And I've just had such a busy week, and I was so tired at the beginning of the week. I didn't even know it was Mental Health Awareness Week. There's so many of these weeks and days, aren't there? And I don't always get involved in them because I kind of... Oh my God, this is really a terrible thing to say. But personally, I get a bit bored of it. I do stuff for mental health awareness all the time. I don't need a special week to be doing it. Is that a terrible thing to admit to? I don't mean, I'm not being disrespectful of it, but for me, I'm like, I do my best to help people all the time. So I don't just sort of put in an extra bit in a particular week. Yeah, so it's probably a terrible thing to admit to, but I've done nothing more than I would normally do. Oh, anyway. So X was asking about emetophobia. So you didn't actually use the word emetophobia, but you were saying about that sense of feeling sick, and perhaps not, being worried about being sick. And again, if you look on my profile page, there's a specific category about emetophobia. So I've talked quite a bit about it. I think that when we feel anxious, because we get this surge of adrenaline and cortisol, and also systems within our body shut down if they're seen as luxuries. So we get that combination of that in our tummy, which is the adrenaline being released, and it can make us feel a bit sick. Also, our digestive system is one of the systems that our nervous system thinks that's not really an essential thing. We don't need to be eating. We need to just be surviving and taking ourselves to a place of safety. So that can be something that we start to feel sick because our nervous system doesn't want us, sitting down in the middle of a trench and having a picnic. It's like, okay, don't eat, because we don't see that as essential right now. And the way that we feel, so we can feel sick, and also what can happen is that we can have had something go on in our lives that has made us see being sick as either being out of control or potentially being something to be scared of. Whereas actually it's not. It's just that we have a belief that that's the case. It's not particularly pleasant, is it? No one really likes being sick, but it serves a purpose. The reasons that we are sick generally is because what I've just said, our nervous system has decided that this is not a good time to be eating, so we don't want to. So the nervous system makes us feel a bit nauseous, so we won't eat. Or it may well be that we've had an experience ourselves that has been unpleasant, but the reason that we're going to be sick is to get rid of something we've eaten, which is perhaps potentially poisonous to us. And so it's a good thing. It's part of our protective response. What we can do is look at, I think it's helpful to work with a therapist around this, to look at why is this happening? What happened in the past to make me believe that this was a terrible thing? Quite often when I work with people who have a fear of being sick, they've either never been sick or they haven't been sick for a really long time. So the brain is imagining all sorts of terrible stuff connected to it. And actually, generally what happens when we're sick is that we feel a bit sick. We get that sense of excess water in our mouth, maybe a cramp in our tummy, and we'll have plenty of time as adults to go and find, a bucket, a loo, and be sick, and then we feel so much better afterwards. So I hope that helps a little bit. But as I say, do go and have a little look on my profile page, because there's more stuff about that there. Thank you so much for asking questions here. I do my best to answer them. I'm not an expert on everything, but I'll do my best to answer stuff that you're asking. Thank you, Michelle. That's very nice of you to say nice things to me. As Heather says, every week should be Mental Health Awareness Week. That's my kind of thought. It's like Valentine's Day, or Mother's Day. I think every day should be Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. We need to show appreciation and love for the people around us all the time, not just on a particular day. It's not just about making money out of a particular day or a particular week. But having said that, it's a good thing that we do draw attention to it. That perhaps for me, I'm constantly aware because that's my career. But maybe for other people, they're not that aware, and so having a week that brings their attention to where they could find help and so on is a good thing. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, so that's a really good thing. So Kirk says you can get travel bans on your wrists for nausea. That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that. So yeah, you can do that, can't you? Get those travel bans. Sometimes nausea can also be something connected to balance. You know, if you've got a bit of vertigo or maybe labyrinthitis. So I always say, if you've got any physical symptoms that are unusual or new, go and get them checked out by a doctor, because we might make assumptions that, oh, you know, I've got this and it's this, but actually maybe it's not. Maybe it's something you've never even heard of, and you're thinking, oh, perhaps if I go and see my doctor and they can say, oh yeah, it's okay, I can give you this for that, or I can, you know, there's all sorts of things that can be done. So don't just make assumptions ever. Go and get it checked out, and then you'll know, oh, it's all fine, and this will pass, or I've got some antibiotics or something to sort this out. So I think thank you for that, Kirk. That's a really good suggestion that you've made there. Let's have a little look. Oh, Elizabeth Malmros, it's so nice to see you. How's your laundry doing? I hope you're all right. I hope that all is going well for you today. It's nice to see you. Thank you, as always. Thank you for your support. Kirk says, I've just been told my mum has terminal cancer. It's palliative now. I'm struggling to cope. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. It's very difficult, isn't it? Whenever we get news like that, I think it's completely normal to be really thrown by it. And I think we all deal with it in our own way. The most important thing is talk about it as best you can. Maybe talk to your mum about it. Find out what information you can. Think about, you know, how you can help her, but also how you can help yourself to deal with it. Maybe look, there are charities out there that can help people, particularly who are going through this sort of event. And also, you know, talk to people who perhaps are not that connected to it, but you know that you can trust, so that you have a place where you can offload how you're feeling. But yeah, do look for, I suppose it's a balance, because there are times when you need to look ahead and think about what might happen, but you don't want to spend your whole time thinking, what if this happens, what if that happens? To be in the moment and to be appreciative of what's happening right here and now, and the relationship you have with your mum right here and now can be really helpful. And to do things together, to create memories, and also to chat, to talk to each other, to tell her the things that you want to tell her that you love her. Because sometimes we don't say those things. Sometimes perhaps your mum needs to say stuff to you and she perhaps can't. So to create that environment where you can speak with one another is really helpful. But I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through that. I think it's natural to struggle a bit, because it's something no one ever wants to go through, and it can feel a bit out of control. But even though you're feeling that now, doesn't mean that you're going to be feeling that in the days and weeks to come. I'm thinking of you. Do keep in touch, won't you? Keep coming to these lives, and hopefully we can support you. Let's have a look. So Sienna, I think this will be the last question that I answer, because I need to go and have my hair cut. But Sienna was saying that she's done her first A-level. Fantastic. And tips on the next one. Well, I think if you manage the first one, then keep doing what you're doing. Just keep steady, and try and be as organised as you can be. Make sure that you eat well, that you sleep as well as you can, to have yourself in the moment as much as you can, to take breaks, so that, you know, you're doing your revision, you're working, but also to have time where you're doing stuff that you have fun with. Don't be just work all the time, because what happens is that when we're having time to relax, maybe going for a walk, maybe meeting with your friends, then you're going to feel much more relaxed, and that in turn allows your brain to come online and you can think so much more clearly. So and also to know that this is just a temporary time, and that what will be. Hopefully you've done the work and all will be well. So yeah, good luck. I hope it all goes brilliantly for you. I'm just going back to this comment because I can see here Kirk saying that her mum, who's got terminal cancer, has she's told me that she can only tell me stuff as my sisters and dad don't understand. Okay, and that can be tricky. I mean, it's in a way, it's such an honour, isn't it, to know that you have that special relationship with your mum, that she can talk to you, but also that's can potentially be a burden on you. So I suppose it's about being tag team with that. So yes, to be there for her and to be that person she can talk to, but please make sure that there's someone that you can talk with too, that you can chat to, whether that's a family member or a good friend. It's really important that you have that. So I hope that helps a little bit. And just keep going, just small steps, plodding along. And I wonder what it is, why, because it may well be that your sisters and your dad, maybe I wonder what it is that makes her feel she can't talk to them, and that will be totally private to you. But even if she can't talk to them, maybe one of your sisters, maybe your dad is someone that you can talk to, so they can be supportive of you. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm just scrolling through. A few little chats in there. I really like it when I see you all chatting with each other. So I'm afraid that I need to draw it to a close, because I need to, as I say, I need to go and get my hair cut. Got my appointment booked. But I really am grateful so much for you all being here. Thank you for Jasmine and for Vicky Handlebars for being here and moderating. Thank you for all of you who come regularly and are here so often and are so supportive. I really appreciate all the likes that you've given me today, and that's hopefully spread the live to more people. Thank you if you followed me. I really appreciate that. I post every day. I try and post every day. Sometimes obviously I can't, but I post every day, and there's lots of categories, things that I post on. And if you want to ask me a question, I'll do my best to answer. Sometimes I do video replies to people's questions, if I think that that's going to be helpful for more people. Also the next one that I'm going to do will be next Friday at 12 o'clock. So do come along. It would be lovely to see you. If you have any suggestions about anything you'd like to talk about particularly, then just let me know. What I will be doing is putting this on YouTube. So if you've not had a chance to see it all and you think, oh, that would have been interesting, then I'm going to put it on YouTube. And I'll also put last week's on YouTube, because I forgot to put it on last week. It's just been one of those weeks. So thank you all, and I hope you have a really lovely weekend. Look after yourselves and take care, and hopefully I'll see you next week. I was going to hang around a bit to say goodbye to people, but thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you, Elizabeth. Cheerio. Bye-bye, Julie. Julie L. Art, nice to have you here. Have a good weekend, Vicky Handlebars. Thank you, Andrea, for being here all this time. Heather, I hope you have a good week, and I hope that everything goes well for you. You take care. Lovely. Oh, thank you. I can't see your name properly. Is it R.I.P. Maya? Thank you for being very nice. That's very sweet of you. Yeah, Kirk. So Ring Macmillan, I think they're a good charity, and that's what they're there for, is to support, not just your mum, but you and your family. And it's difficult, it's a difficult situation, but also the load needs to be spread, doesn't it? So don't cope with this all by yourself. Take care. Julie, it does go so quickly, doesn't it? It really does fly by. I'm so glad that you were here. Nice to have you here from California. Oh, thank you for following me. Oh gosh, Kirk, so you've been through cancer as well. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that you're okay at the moment. So you have a bit of an understanding, don't you, of what she's going through? Okay. All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to head off now, but thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves, and I hope that I'll see you soon. Cheerio.